Bright Fish is a 2012 standalone novel by the British author James Ward Me. This is one of a series of videos in which I attempt to explain, partly for my own longer-term benefit, what inspired my work, what it's about, and what it was meant to achieve. I probably won't write any more fiction now, so I'll try to talk in the past tense. Genre-wise, I'm still not sure how to categorise it. Subject-wise, it's an attempt to answer the deeper questions of life. Just about everyone, at some time or other, has asked themselves what, if anything, happens when we die, and what we're all doing on this planet anyway. Of course, one can reply that it's all just chance, life has no meaning, and death's the final curtain. At which point, the questions are supposed to go away. The problem is that making a decision about a question isn't the same as answering it. The truth is we don't really know. Nowadays, we're often told that our minds are simply the product of our brains. And since our brains will eventually stop functioning and rot away, there's no possible scenario in which our minds live on elsewhere. But while there's some evidence for that, no one can possibly deny that mind and brain are connected. We don't know it for certain. And of course, all civilizations are inclined to overesteem their own intellectual accomplishments. Go to any tribal village, no matter how cut off from the rest of the world, and ask them how the universe works. They'll never say, "We've no idea." We're just the same. We tend to think we have the answers, but in some areas at least, we're probably overconfident. To be clear, I'm not talking here about religious notions of heaven. If there is an afterlife, it could be anything. In his 2007 book, Some, which I've reviewed on this channel, David Eagleman speculatively presents 40 conceivable afterlives, but obviously the number of possibilities is infinite. The Scottish biologist-mathematician J.B.S. Haldane once famously said the universe is not only stranger than we imagine, but stranger than we can imagine, which is a quotation that appears in The Bright Fish. Plot-wise, it's about a couple of 20-year-olds who win an all-expenses-paid trip on a luxury liner called the Aurora. As the blurb says, something's not right aboard the cruise ship Aurora. There's the passenger everyone thought was dead, but who reappears one evening in the lounge without comment or explanation. An 80-year-old Celia Soper who reads tarot cards, but only for the history of the world, whatever that means. And then, of course, the disappearances, which apparently only you two have noticed. Above all, there are the bright fish, creatures the size of dolphins that materialize unexpectedly at intervals alongside the hull, glowing with indescribable colours, and which never seem to inspire the sort of delight one might expect. Quite the opposite, in fact. It's a mystery story, but obviously this is a mystery without a solution. It's set at sea, where, of course, all life on Earth began, and which still strikes most people sometimes as vaguely discomforting. And there's a lot of dialogue. First and foremost, I wanted it to be pacey. No one wants to read 200 pages of existentialist introspection, even if I was capable of providing such a thing, which thankfully I'm not. Lastly, and most importantly, it's a love story. The two protagonists, Hugo and Ashanta, are at the beginning of their lives, and they gradually realise that one or both of them may have to die, and fairly imminently. The mystery deepens as the novel goes on, but in a way that probably owes more to H.P. Lovecraft than Agatha Christie. It's optimistic, but hopefully not glibly. There's a consensus in most of the world's major religions that whatever the truth about life, the universe, and everything, in some mysterious way, it's connected to love. I was happy to go along with that for the purposes of this story. I've often thought that The Bright Fish is one of my better novels, which isn't necessarily saying anything. I don't suppose it'll ever date. A book about unanswerable questions has at least that going for it.